Hello, and welcome to Nexus Story Network.
The Orlan Empire had ruled the spiral arms of the galaxy for 40,000 cycles, its fleet stretching from nebula-lit frontiers to star systems darkened by ancient wars. The aliens, tall, crystalline-boned beings with silver-veined skin, believed their dominance eternal, ordained by the universe itself. On the capital world Voranth, where floating citadels shimmered above oceans of liquid sapphire, the imperial throne room vibrated with low thunder. A disturbance rippled across the galaxy-spanning network of sensors. Deep beneath the palace, in the subspace observatory, alarms flared. The room's curved walls brightened with cascading glyphs. The head of the observatory, science advisor Thalen Kor, leaned forward, his four iridescent eyes narrowing. Another phantom burst, a junior analyst asked nervously. No, Thalen's voice was soft, but it silenced the room. This is different. He magnified the wave signature. A strange pattern, too structured to be natural, too elegant to be primitive, unraveled across the display. A signal pulsing from the Terran system. From Earth. A world classified as pre-interstellar Tier 1. Primitive. Young. Insignificant. At least, according to the Empire. A cold tension crawled along Thalen's spine. It's a transmission, he whispered. And not one of ours. The Emperor arrives. The doors hissed open, and the temperature dropped as Emperor Xyler Vesh entered. His very presence seemed to bend the air, tall, robed in obsidian fibers, a crown of living metal floating above his head. Advisor Thalen, the Emperor said, voice quiet but heavy with command. Explain why I was summoned. Thalen bowed, throat tightening. My Emperor, a foreign power has accessed subspace without authorization. Xyler's eyes narrowed. From which empire? Thalen swallowed. None, sire. The origin is from an undeveloped world, from the humans. The Emperor's expression froze. A slow, simmering disbelief entered his tone. Impossible. Humans burn fossil chemicals for fuel. Their ships still break under atmospheric friction. That is what our records show, Thalen replied, but this pulse is not within their known capabilities. It pierced 3 subspace layers and reached our outpost near the Azar Rift. Several commanders muttered among themselves. Emperor Xyler stepped forward. Play it. The room darkened. The signal replayed, low, rhythmic, elegant, patterned with a complexity the analysts could barely track. It felt intentional. Constructed. Impossible. When it ended, the Emperor's expression hardened. Send Admiral Kale Dravis with the 7th Expeditionary Fleet, he ordered. Humans are no threat, but I want confirmation. Thalen hesitated. My Emperor. I must advise caution. Xyler turned sharply. Caution. Against humans. Thalen's lower eyes blinked, the Orlan equivalent of gathering courage. Sire, this signal is not the work of primitive beings. Admiral Dravis enters. The chamber trembled as the doors opened again. Admiral Kale Dravis, broad-shouldered, armored in silver plating, entered with the swagger of someone who had never lost a campaign. My Emperor. Dravis bowed. I received your summons. You will take your fleet to the Terran system, Xyler said. Investigate the human anomaly. A thin smile tugged at Dravis' lipless mouth. So the animals have learned to shout into the void? Very well. I will bring you their first toys as trophies. Thalen clenched his jaw. Admiral, this is not. Dravis cut him off. Humans are barely capable of leaving their atmosphere. Thalen replied softly, our assumptions may no longer be correct. Admiral Dravis snorted. Then I will confirm it myself. He struck his chest plate with a metallic thud. By the time I return, my Emperor, you will know. Humans are exactly what we always believed. The Emperor nodded, though unease flickered in his gaze. Depart at once. Dravis bowed and left, boots echoing like war drums. Thalen watched him go, dread twisting inside him. The humans. What have they done? The Seventh Fleet departs. Aboard the flagship Imperial Reckoning, Admiral Dravis gazed out at the colossal fleet arrayed before him, crystal-backed dreadnoughts shimmering like predatory insects, engines glowing with antimatter fire. Set course for Earth, he commanded. The fleet vanished into slip space, leaving the capital world behind. But as the Emperor watched them go from his throne balcony, a whisper of doubt touched him. Humans, he murmured. Show me what you have become. Humanity prepares. Light minutes away, near the edge of the Terran system, a sleek, dark vessel hung motionless. Unlike any ship in known space. Its hull shimmered with quantum phase armor, shifting between matter and probability. Veins of living biotech pulsed softly. Gravitational flex fields bent starlight around it. The ship was both alive and engineered. Inside, Captain Arya Hale stood calmly at the navigation dome. Admiral Dravis' fleet has entered slip space, her AI assistant reported. ETA, 4 hours. Arya did not flinch. Good, she said quietly. It's time the galaxy learned the truth. Her eyes turned toward the distant stars, toward the empire that believed humans were weak. A faint smile touched her lips. They have no idea what we've become. The 7th Orlan Expeditionary Fleet tore out of slip space in a thunderburst of fractured starlight. Dreadnoughts stabilized formation, their crystal-spined hulls humming with plasma charge. Admiral Cale Dravis stood on the command deck of the Imperial Reckoning, arms clasped behind his back, his 4 angular eyes scanning the Terran system with predatory confidence. Begin planetary scans, he ordered. Humans should be. But the sensor officer cut him off. Admiral, something is here. Dravis stiffened. What kind of something? The officer swallowed. Unknown ship, directly ahead. Dravis turned sharply toward the viewport. And froze. A ship unlike anything the Empire cataloged drifted between Mars and the asteroid belt, sleek obsidian metal, shifting like liquid glass, wrapped in a faint shimmering distortion as if spacetime bent to avoid touching it. What is that? Dravis whispered. Science advisor Thalen's earlier warnings echoed in the back of his mind, but he ignored them. Scan it, he snapped. We can't, the sensor officer whispered. Our signals pass through it. Like it's not entirely real. A chill crawled down Dravis' spine. The humans speak first. A soft chime echoed through the ship. A transmission. Clean. Precise. Direct. Admiral Cale Dravis of the Orlan Empire, said a calm human voice, filling the deck. This is Captain Arya Hale of the Terran Vanguard flagship Eidolon. You have entered restricted space. The crew stared, stunned. Dravis' mandibles clenched. Humans are not capable of subspace identification, he hissed. How do they know my name? The voice continued, almost politely. We advise you to hold position. We wish for peaceful contact. Peace. From humans. Dravis burst into laughter. Prepare a level 1 plasma strike on the unknown vessel, he ordered. We'll test their illusion. His tactical officer hesitated. Admiral, their tone. Fire. The first attack. The dreadnought batteries glowed white-hot. A concentrated plasma bolt, capable of melting asteroid fortresses, lanced across space and struck the human vessel dead center. The explosion blazed like a small star. The officers shielded their eyes. Dravis allowed himself a satisfied breath. Threat neutralized. But then. The light faded. Smoke cleared. And the human ship floated there. Untouched. Not a dent. Not a scorch. Not a ripple. The bridge fell silent. What did we just witness? Travis whispered. His tactical officer stared at his display in horror. Admiral, the energy from our attack didn't hit them. It bent around their hull. Bent? Travis snapped. Yes, the officer stammered. As if gravity itself was manipulated. Travis' four eyes widened. Gravitational manipulation was theoretical. Impossible. Unachievable by any species. Yet the humans. They were using it. The humans respond. A new transmission arrived. Same calm voice. Admiral, we would prefer not to escalate. But if attacked again, we will defend ourselves. Travis' pride burned. His empire, old, mighty, unchallenged, could not be threatened by primitives from a backwater planet. You dare warn me, he roared. You insects think. But Captain Arya Hale cut him off. Admiral, your plasma projectile would have obliterated a standard dreadnought. But physics can be altered when you understand the underlying fabric. Travis froze. What did she mean? Arya continued. You perceive the universe in one dimension. We've learned to step into the cracks between them. Her words were simple. Calm. Not arrogant. Which made them terrifying. The Empire panics. On the capital world Vorinth, Emperor Xyler and advisor Thalen watched the footage in real time. The Emperor leaned forward. They survived, untouched. Thalen whispered, I tried to warn you. A ripple of fear moved through the Imperial Council chamber. For the first time in millennia, the Empire witnessed something stronger than itself. And it came from humans. Primitive humans. Impossible humans. Xyler's voice trembled ever so slightly. What have they evolved into? Back to space, tension rises. Admiral Travis, shaken but stubborn, barked new orders. Charge all weapons. I want full annihilation capacity. We end this now. But before the dreadnoughts could fire, the human ship moved. No engines flared. No thrusters ignited. It simply appeared in front of the lead dreadnought. As if skipping through space like a stone across water. The Orlin bridge gasped. How did? What was? They teleported. Arya Hale's voice returned. Admiral, please stop. Her tone carried no fear. Only certainty. We have no intention of harming your empire. Travis swallowed hard. For the first time in his life. He felt outmatched. The warning. Arya's voice darkened, still calm, but heavy with truth. But hear this clearly. If you fire on Earth again, your empire will not survive the week. A cold silence fell over the bridge. She wasn't boasting. She wasn't threatening. She was warning. For their sake. The sprint through the burning maze began as instinct, but the deeper Aiden plunged, the more the world twisted around him. The environment felt alive, like the simulation was breathing, expanding and contracting in strange pulses that did not belong to any human-created system. The flames didn't behave like fire anymore. They folded. They shivered. They moved sideways, against gravity, like the space itself was glitching. This is not a malfunction, Aiden muttered, breath catching. Something is rewriting the simulation in real time. But the deeper he ran, the clearer another truth became. Someone was nudging him. Guiding him. Pulling him forward. And that someone wasn't human. The entity speaks. When Aiden reached the glowing breach again, he expected silence. Instead, a whisper rolled through the chamber with the weight of a breaking universe. You left something behind. Aiden froze. His heart punched his ribs. Who are you? He demanded. The light pulsed, then bent, shaping itself into something humanoid but blurred, like a figure viewed through warped water. Not masculine. Not feminine. Just presence. And its voice carried galaxies. You carry the imprint of the strategist, it said. But you have forgotten what you are. Aiden staggered back. I don't know what you're talking about. The figure tilted its head as if disappointed. You were never supposed to return to this place alone. The forgotten memory. Without warning, the creature lifted its hand and flicked 2 fingers toward his forehead. A flash. A collapse of reality. Then. Explosion of memory. Aiden could suddenly see himself. But not exactly himself. He stood at a round table surrounded by council members in white armor, each one wearing masks carved with symbols older than any known civilization. A shimmering star map hovered above the table, spirals of galaxies, timelines, battle routes spanning centuries. And Aiden, young, confident, calculating, was smiling. We win this war, he heard himself say. Not because we are stronger. But because we will rewrite the rules. And then. A girl's voice. Gentle, sharp. Aiden, you're gambling with forces we barely understand. He turned. Mira. Her silver eyes glowed like 2 moons. Her hair drifted around her as if underwater. A wave of affection, deep, familiar, slammed into his chest. He knew her. He loved her. He had lost her. And then. A blinding tear in space. Screams. Light devouring light. And Mira was gone. Yanked into the breach. Back to the present. Aiden collapsed to his knees, gasping. The entity's form flickered with interest. Now you remember. But Aiden shook his head violently. No. I don't understand. Was that real? A vision? A lie? A fragment, the figure said. You left the rest inside the anomaly when you followed Mira. Aiden's blood went cold. Mira, is she alive? Silence. Then. She is inside the singularity. Waiting. Changing. Aiden felt his throat tighten. Then I have to save her, if she's still. You misunderstand. The figure stepped closer. The chamber darkened. The simulation crackled like broken glass. Mira is not trapped. Mira is evolving. A beat. A low vibration. And the council wants her erased. The return of the council. The ground shuddered. A sudden boom shook the chamber. Aiden whipped around. A tear opened in the air, sleek silver doors unfolding in midair like a metallic flower. And through them stepped figures in white armor. 7 of them. The Council of 78. Or at least. Their hunting division. Their masks glowed with tiny constellation patterns. Their weapons hummed with antimatter energy. The leader raised his arm. Aiden Vance, the voice boomed, filtered and cold. In the name of the council, you are ordered to stand down. Aiden clenched his fists. Stand down. Why? What did I do? The leader took a step forward. You brought a threat into existence. His mask rotated, reconfiguring into a new symbol. A deletion order. Mira threatens the stability of our universe and parallel strata. You will assist in locating her so we may neutralize the anomaly. Aiden's stomach twisted with rage. She's not an anomaly, she's a person. The soldier aimed his weapon. That is no longer accurate. The entity intervenes. The council squad moved to advance. But the glowing figure stepped between them. Its presence thickened like gravity itself. You should not be here, it said. The squad froze mid-step. Literally froze. As if time had stopped around them. Aiden's eyes widened. You can control time. The figure looked back at him. I can influence the threads of weaker minds. A pause. But they are not your threat. Aiden swallowed. Then what is? The entity leaned close, its face inches from his. Mira. A chill went down Aiden's spine. Why? What is she becoming? The entity's voice dropped to a whisper that seemed to echo through centuries. What you created her to become. Aiden's breath hitched. I created her. You did not just create her. The chamber darkened again. The air grew heavy. You wrote her destiny. A new choice. The entity lifted its glowing hand. Suddenly an aperture formed in the air. A swirling black and silver tunnel, humming like a collapsing star. A gateway. Go, it said. Find Mira before the council does. Aiden hesitated. His heart thundered. And if I go through, what happens? The figure answered simply. You begin to remember who you truly are. Aiden inhaled. Looked at the frozen council soldiers. Looked at the entity. Looked at the swirling gate. Then stepped forward. Into the impossible. Into the unknown. The moment Aiden stepped into the swirling aperture, the world unraveled. Not like shattering glass. But like peeling away reality layer by layer, revealing the glowing machinery beneath existence itself. There was no ground. No sky. No direction. Just an endless ocean of light strands, threads of data, memory, time, and gravity, all flowing in enormous currents. Some strands glowed warm gold. Others shimmered neon blue like cold electricity. And some, flickered with unstable red, glitching like corrupted code. Aiden floated between them, suspended in something that felt like liquid and vacuum at once. This place isn't space. It's the inside of a thought. He felt something tug at him. Not physically. Emotionally. Like a familiar heartbeat calling him home. Mira, he whispered. And the singularity answered. The phantom in the light. Auden drifted along a glowing stream of memories, letting it pull him deeper. Voices whispered around him, his own, but distorted. Rewrite the simulation. Break causality. She isn't ready. Aiden, stop. Images flashed into currents. The council chamber. The star map. Mira smiling at him across a holographic battlefield model. And then. A shadow moved through the light. Not like the council soldiers. Not like the entity. This was familiar. A silhouette of a woman. Hair drifting like it was underwater. Body wrapped in glittering ribbons of starlight. Aiden felt something inside him tear open. Mira. He reached toward her. But the moment he touched her outline, she dissolved into silver dust. Not real. A phantom. A memory echo. But it left behind a direction. A path. He followed. The heart of the singularity. The deeper he went, the more the laws of physics began to blur and twist. Time dilated. Colors bled into impossible spectrums. His heartbeat echoed as visible waves. Then, far ahead. A pulse. A rhythmic, massive pulse of golden light. Like a beating heart the size of a planet. Aiden drifted closer, shielding his eyes. Suspended in the center was a crystalline sphere, rotating slowly, containing swirling storms of silver and gold energy. But what drew his breath away wasn't the sphere itself. It was the figure standing inside the storm. Mira. Very real. Very alive. But transformed. She wasn't human anymore. At least, not fully. Her skin glowed like metallic glass. Her eyes burned with two spiraling galaxies. Her body emitted tiny threads of radiant code that dissolved into the air. She turned toward him. And for the first time in what felt like centuries. She smiled softly. Aiden, you finally came. The reunion. Aiden stumbled forward, gravity suddenly returning beneath his feet. His throat tightened. Mira, what happened to you? The council said you were dangerous, she finished with a sad smirk. Yes, to them, I am. Aiden tried to step closer, but she raised a hand. The air between them fractured, forming a barrier of rippling glass-like energy. You shouldn't be here, she whispered. Aiden's voice cracked. I came to save you. Myra's expression softened, and for a moment, he saw the same girl from the council chamber, brilliant and stubborn and beautiful. Then her face hardened again. You don't understand. I'm not trapped. She spread her arms, and the sphere behind her pulsed brighter. I'm connected to everything now. Memories, universes, timelines. I can see it all. Aiden shook his head. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they want to kill you. Mira gave a hollow laugh. Aiden, they should be afraid. The sphere behind her surged, sending ripples through the singularity. Her eyes dimmed with sadness. I'm changing too fast. I won't be able to stay myself much longer. Aiden stepped forward again. Mira. I won't lose you. Not again. She looked at him with something like heartbreak. You already did. Revelation, the truth about Aiden. Mira reached out a hand, this time allowing him to come close. A glowing thread of code extended from her fingers and gently touched the center of Aiden's chest. Instantly, pain exploded through his mind. He saw memories. But not the ones he'd recovered before. These were older. His own body. Lying on a table. Unconscious. Wires and circuitry being integrated into his brain. Voices of council scientists. The strategist's neural map is incomplete. We need the synthetic echo version of him to stabilize Myra's evolution. Install failsafe C7. He must never remember the original. Aiden felt his breath leave him. He looked at Mira in horror. I'm not the real Aiden. Mira placed a glowing hand over his heart. You're more real than they ever intended you to be. Aiden's knees buckled. He was a construct. A reconstruction. A designed mind built from the original strategist. The real Aiden died years ago. Mira stepped closer. You were made to control me. She lifted his chin gently. But you chose to come for me instead. Tears streamed down his cheeks. Mira, what am I? Her glowing eyes softened. You're the part of him that loved me. The incoming threat. The entire singularity suddenly shook. Aiden and Mira spun toward the rippling horizon. Cracks formed in the glowing threads. Energy streamed shattered. Dark shadows multiplied like ink spilling through water. Myra's eyes widened. No. Her voice trembled. They found us. Aiden saw it too. A massive portal slicing into the singularity. Armored council elites pouring through. Thousands of them. Weapons charged. Masks glowing. And behind them. Floating like a false god. The Grand Counselor. He pointed directly at Mira. Contain the singularity. His voice boomed. Terminate the anomaly. Aiden stepped in front of her. You'll have to go through me. The Grand Counselor's mask pulsed with cold amusement. No. We will simply delete you again. Myra's voice trembled with fury. You will not touch him. The entire chamber vibrated as Mira began to rise. Light spiraling around her, power surging like a living supernova. Her voice deepened, layered with cosmic resonance. I am done running. The singularity shuddered as two forces collided. The cold, metallic precision of the Council's armies. And the rising, godlike storm inside Mira. Light fractured. Gravity inverted. Time rippled like a disturbed pond. Aiden stood between Mira and the incoming soldiers, his pulse racing but his stance unshaken. He knew he couldn't stop an army. But he could buy her time. Mira floated higher, hair drifting like flame underwater, her form blazing with shifting layers of starlight and living code. Streams of energy spiraled from her skin into the heart of the singularity. She wasn't just transformed. She was becoming part of this place. And the council saw it. Feared it. Would kill to stop it. The armies break through. Advance, the Grand Counselor commanded. Rows of armored elites moved in perfect formation, forming a wall of shimmering shields. Plasma rifles powered up, humming with lethal intent. Behind them, floating tanks phased into existence, half machine, half quantum field. Aiden raised his weapon instinctively. He had no illusions. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't the real strategist. But he was the one who stayed. Target the anomaly, the counselor declared, pointing at Mira. Do not let her complete integration. Fire on my mark. You'll do no such thing. A voice echoed behind him. Low, resonant, and furious. Mira's. Her hands lifted, and the singularity erupted. Mira unleashed. A wave of golden force exploded outward. Not a mere shockwave. But a rewriting of physics itself. The first line of soldiers was thrown backward, shields shattering into glowing fragments. The tanks twisted midair, their armor bending like liquid metal before dissolving entirely. The counselor staggered. Impossible, she shouldn't have this level of control. Mira's voice boomed through the entire chamber. I am not your experiment anymore. Energy threads lashed out from the sphere behind her, tearing across the battlefield. Every beam she released wasn't random, it was precise, calculated, devastating. But Aiden saw something the council did not. Each burst of power drained her. Lines of her luminous skin flickered. Her galaxies for eyes dimmed. She was burning herself out. Mira. Stop. She didn't hear him. Or couldn't. Aiden's last stand. Aiden sprinted forward as the second wave charged. Plasma bolts sizzled past him, distorting the air. He rolled behind a fractured energy pillar, firing back to slow them. He wasn't a soldier, but Mira's memories, the real Aiden's memories, flooded him. Where to aim. How to move. When to duck. The echo and the original blended. He fought like a ghost of the strategist reborn. Still, the soldiers kept coming. He ducked behind another pillar as a bolt vaporized the stone. Mira screamed. A sound of power and pain intertwined. And another surge of energy blasted through the chamber. But this time, she staggered midair. Aiden's heart dropped. Mira. Hold on, I'm coming. The counselor's gambit. The Grand Counselor lifted a device shaped like a crystalline dagger. Cold blue light pulsed within it, humming with dreadful familiarity. Aiden's breath froze. No, that's... Mira gasped the same moment. The nullifier. A device designed to kill an evolving mind. To collapse quantum consciousness. To erase a being like Mira permanently. The counselor aimed it directly at her heart. Mira Solis, he declared. Your evolution ends, now. He hurled the device. A crystalline arc of death streaked toward her. And Aiden moved. Faster than instinct. Faster than reason. He threw himself into its path. There was a flash. A crack. A sound like a star imploding. And Aiden's body jerked violently as the nullifier embedded itself in his chest. He hit the ground. Hard. Aiden falling. The chamber blurred. Voices distorted. Colors inverted. The pain wasn't physical, it was deeper, ripping at memories, identity, consciousness. He felt pieces of himself unraveling. The synthetic. The human. The echo. The strategist. The lover. All peeling away. His vision flickered as Mira dropped to her knees beside him, her glow collapsing into dim embers. No. No, Aiden, stay with me, don't you dare. He smiled weakly. Mira. I guess I really was made for you. Tears streamed down her shining cheeks, each drop glowing as it fell and evaporated into code. You weren't made for anything, she whispered. You chose me. That's what made it real. Aiden reached up with numbing fingers, touching her face. I remember everything now. The original me, he loved you too. Mira leaned into his touch, trembling. I don't need the original, she breathed. I need you. Aiden's hand slipped. His breathing slowed. Aiden, please, please don't leave me. I can't lose you again. His voice was barely a whisper. Then don't. Bring me with you. Her eyes widened. She understood. His physical form was dying. But his mind, his consciousness, his code, could be pulled into the singularity. If she chose it. But doing so would complete her transformation. She wouldn't be able to return. She wouldn't be human. She wouldn't even be a singular entity anymore. She would become the singularity itself. The cost was everything. Her voice broke. Aiden, are you sure? He smiled, breath fading. With you? Always. And Aiden's body went still. Mira ascends. Mira screamed. Raw, unbearable, tearing through the chamber like a collapsing star. Her power exploded outward, white-hot and blinding. The soldiers were vaporized. The tide of shadows evaporated. The chamber shook as reality itself bent under her grief. She lifted Aiden's body gently, holding him to her chest one last time. Then she placed a hand over his heart. Her glow brightened. White. Gold. Silver. Then beyond color entirely. Her form dissolved into luminous threads. Her consciousness surged into the sphere behind her. The singularity roared open. A vortex of stars, memories, and code. And Mira pulled Aiden's fading mind into the light with her. Their forms intertwined. Two souls merging into one infinite spark. Then. Silence. The singularity collapsed inward. The council chamber shattered. And a new light. Vast. Gentle. Eternal. Unfolded across the fabric of the universe. When two souls become a star. Silence expanded through the ruins of the council spire. A silence so complete it felt like the universe itself was holding its breath. Where Mira and Aiden once stood, there was now only light. A swirling, newborn star of consciousness suspended in the air. Pulsing like a heartbeat. The Emperor staggered to his feet, armor scorched, robes torn, eyes reflecting the impossible. What have we unleashed? He gazed into the growing sphere. Within it, two silhouettes flickered. One shaped like Mira. One shaped like Aiden. Circling each other, merging, separating, merging again. In an endless cosmic dance. Not human. Not machine. Not anomaly. Something new. Something the Empire had never prepared for. The light expands. Tendrils of luminous code stretched from the sphere, weaving themselves into the shattered walls, restoring them not as stone but as crystalline, humming frameworks of energy. The Emperor watched in awe as the singularity extended its reach. Advisor Chiral, he whispered. What am I looking at? The science advisor stepped forward slowly, trembling. Your Majesty, we are witnessing the birth of a quantum ascendant, a consciousness beyond biological evolution or artificial design. A hybrid of two minds bound within a controlled singularity. Can it be controlled? The Emperor asked. Chiral shook his head. No. But it might be reasoned with. The voice of the Ascendant. A soft warmth spread across the chamber. The air shimmered. Then. Do not fear. The voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. Speaking with two tones layered into one, Myra's gentle resonance and Aiden's steady calm. The Emperor fell to one knee, overwhelmed. You are alive. Alive. Changed. United. The sphere pulsed. We remember everything. The suffering. The cages. The fear. But also, the choice. A surge of golden light rippled outward, and suddenly the Emperor saw memories. Mira as a child, laughing with her father. Aiden learning strategy games with his mother. The council raids. The experiments. The deaths. The fear. And finally, the moment Mira and Aiden chose each other over themselves. The Emperor bowed his head in shame. We wronged you. We wronged your species. And we were blind to the cost. The galaxy holds its breath. From orbit, Imperial fleets watched as the spire glowed brighter than the system's sun. Elsewhere, human ships waited silently, unsure if the explosion on the surface was destruction or transformation. Across the galaxy, sensors screamed in confusion as the new singularity expanded, radiating quantum signatures never recorded before. Everyone knew something irreversible had occurred. But only the Ascendant understood what came next. The judgment. Emperor Varyan. The Emperor raised his head. Your empire stands at a precipice. Fear will destroy you. Pride will blind you. But humility. The light dimmed, warm and soft. Can save you. Save us, how? He whispered. A projection of star maps formed around them. Every imperial world. Every human colony. Every border. Every wound. End the experiments. End the oppression. Let humans breathe, grow, and rise. For the age where you rule alone, is over. The Emperor swallowed hard. And if we refuse? The Ascendant pulsed once. A gentle ripple that caused gravity to invert for a fraction of a second. Not an attack. A reminder. Then we will protect humanity, with or without your consent. A second chance. Chiral, trembling, stepped forward. Ascendant, what do you want from us? For a moment the sphere flickered, revealing Mira and Aiden holding hands like silhouettes carved from starlight. We want peace. They said together. A galaxy where no one suffers what we endured. The Emperor bowed deeply. Then, let this be our new beginning. His voice cracked with the weight of history. I declare an end to the Human Experimentation Initiative. A withdrawal from human territories. And a formal recognition of humanity as an independent civilization. A soft current of relief passed through the Ascendant's light. Thank you. The new dawn. The star-like sphere lifted slowly upward, rising above the chamber, passing through the broken roof, ascending into open sky. The Emperor, the soldiers, Chiral. All watched it rise like a newborn sun. On the horizon, the unified fleets of humanity and the Empire lowered their weapons simultaneously. No orders given. Just understanding. The galaxy shifted. The final transformation. In the upper atmosphere, the Ascendant's form expanded, light blooming across the clouds. A star being born. A star with consciousness. Where will you go? Chiral whispered into the comms. The answer resonated across every ship, every city, every world tuned to the anomaly. Everywhere. We will watch over both species. We will guide without ruling. We will exist beyond borders, beyond flesh, beyond war. The star pulsed once more. Remember us not as weapons, but as what humanity and the Empire can become. Together. And with a final burst of radiance. The Ascendant shot into deep space, leaving a shimmering trail of quantum stardust in its wake. A new star appeared in the night skies of countless worlds. A reminder that two souls, broken by war, had saved the galaxy by becoming more than anyone believed possible.